oh my, that was apt because fire is exactly what comes to mind when I think of the matchups we have on display today. 4 of the best teams in India are going to be fighting it out for a chance to become the first team to qualify for the VCC Grand Finals. I'm sorry Phoenix, but I'm gonna have to stay on the fire this time. Can't follow the super high level tactics if you know what I mean. So starting us off is going to be Global Esports versus Enigma Gaming. The Global Giants versus a team that has really been a mystery so far in the way they operate, able to surprise opponents back to back. Now, let's try and understand a bit more about these teams by taking a look at the compositions they played so far. So let's head over to that screen. For both of these teams, Icebox and Ascent are very important maps. As you can see on the screen, they play the exact same mirror composition on Icebox, a plan that is really focused on those post-plant situations with agents like Killjoy and Viper trying to get the plant early using the Sage wall, which means that when you have that mirror composition, it's all about those mind games. It's about the teams that finds the small advantages because they have the exact same resources. If you look at Ascent, they have similar compositions, but Global opting to use the Breach, whereas Enigma Gaming used the Sky, meaning Global are happy to take considerably more aggressive approach, whereas Enigma Gaming, like the mystery they usually are, continuously try to get info. They use that info to then make plays across the map. So this battle of continuous playmaking versus info gathering is going to be really key. I do think the Sky has a bit of an edge, but in general the Breach has a lot of self-sufficiency, so the player carrying the Breach can end up becoming a duelist almost and carry the game by himself. As we head into the Veto screen, I think again the most important point I would like to highlight for you guys is the fact that both of these teams really prioritize Icebox in that veto process. As you can see, both of them opting to pick up the Icebox when they get a chance to do so. Besides this, the only difference between them is what they ban. Global likely to ban Haven even today, while Enigma have a big decision to make because now, if you ban Split, you automatically leave Breeze open, and I do think that favors Global a little bit more, but that's where the interesting part of this matchup comes up because Enigma, the mystery that they are, I'm 100% sure that they're prepared for the map of Breeze because it favors tacticality a lot, so I think we might just get to see map 3 of the series be Breeze today. Now that we've been able to understand both of these teams' basic map compositions as well as the maps they are likely to prioritize, let's take a look at some individual statistics as we try to understand how these teams play around their star players, how they like to set up certain players for success. We're going to be looking at SK Rossi from Global Esports and Ghost from Enigma Gaming. And the really interesting part here is that both players strikingly similar. If you look at the stats, 73 kills over 3 maps for Ghost, meaning just over 24 kills per map becomes his average, and similarly for SK Rossi, 46 over 2 maps, meaning 23 kills is the average. Very similar both of these players are, but the difference lies in between their first bloods. If you notice, SK Rossi with 13 first bloods over 2 maps, whereas Ghost has only 8 over 3 maps, and the difference here comes because of the way Global Esports like to play around SK Rossi, especially on Ascent with that Breach. They like to make those aggressive plays, get that jet in the face of their opponents because SK Rossi's aim then takes over and he's able to get multiple first bloods, getting 11 on the map of Ascent in his quarterfinals matchup. So for Enigma Gaming, that becomes something you need to instantly shut down, especially on the contested map of Ascent as we talked about. Shut down Rossi and you shut down Global's playstyle. That was the first matchup that we talked about with Global Esports and Enigma Gaming. There's one more matchup to go. Let's head over to Velocity Gaming versus Samurai Esports. Both of these teams are powerhouses in their own right, but they're very different teams. Samurai with their own identity, own style, especially with Excali, the former player of VLT coming in, they have developed a level of aggression that can only be called swift and calculated, whereas Velocity, more like the name we know, they are aggressive, but they're more tactically aggressive, calculated. When these two teams line up, the sparks are gonna fly, the fireworks gonna blow, it's gonna be one hell of an explosive matchup. Now when it comes to this matchup, if you look at the compositions they pick with respect to the maps, you can clearly understand the difference in styles that I highlighted before between both of these teams. While Velocity prefers to prioritize maps like Bind, Samurai prefers to prioritize maps like Ascent. So I want you to take a closer look at the agents they pick up to try and understand their style a little bit more. For Ascent, for Samurai, you have that double initiative Sova Sky composition, where in Velocity they don't like to play that map. They instead like to carry comps like the Phoenix Jet, the Double Duelist, standard old compositions into maps like Haven. This is where the difference in style comes through, and the team that is able to take it over the top really puts a lot of priority into the veto. You need to ban the strong maps for either team. And going into the veto screen, it gets really interesting because Samurai naturally want to ban Bind and Velocity naturally want to pick Bind. But, and here's the big part, Velocity lost Bind in their quarterfinals matchup, so now Samurai are in an interesting conundrum. Do we take the risk and try to play them at the matchup we know they lost, or do we just go the safe route, ban the map we don't want to play, and just play it simple? And this is the essence of this veto. Besides this, I expect map 3 to be Breeze, where both of the teams playing a very different playstyle. Velocity playing that double controller comp with Brimstone and Viper, whereas Samurai are likely to play that double initiator comp, focus on the sky a lot more with a single controller in Viper. I'm excited to see how it pans out. Now, if you take a look at the head-to-head for Velocity versus Samurai, as you can see, we have MW1 versus Excali, where both of these players are actually the opening fraggers for both of these teams. They're the players that create the space. Therefore, this matchup is a lot more about what roles these players play in their teams than about themselves, where in MW1, as you can see from his stats, 15 first bloods over 3 maps. It's an average of 5 first bloods per map. Clearly the player that the team looks to find that first engagement, to find that first blood. Whereas Excali on the other side, the stats may not look as padded, but you can believe that this player along with Sieh is the player creating the space for the team. Without him, there's no way the team actually gets in. So Excali's role much more refined in Samurai Esports, which means Velocity Gaming have to try and shut him down right then and there because he's got that role down to a T. Oh my god, I am extremely excited for both of these matchups today, and I'm sure you are as well. Let me know down in the comments below which team you think carries the edge in each matchup and why. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, get the notifications bell on, because you don't want to miss a single second of this action. I'll see you with the Valorant Conquerors Championship Qualifier 1 for India live stream of the semi-finals matchups today at 5 PM. Don't miss a second.